If you uploaded your brand voice file to Claude and you are still spending so much time on rewrites that you might as well have done it yourself, it's because you are missing an additional file that nobody talks about. I use Claude to write these two LinkedIn posts using the same prompt and the same brand voice file. Now, this top one, it could have been written by any consultant who does what I do. Look, there's this weird analogy here. AI is a mirror, and right now most people are looking into it and seeing a stranger. I would never say that. But this one, the second one, it has my fingerprints all over it. So it talks about how AI is a word prediction engine. I talk about that all the time. It talks about my expert content kit that I create for my clients. It talks about the 80-10-10 framework that I talk about how with AI, in order to get good results, it's 10% you on the front end and then 80% letting the AI do its thing and then 10% you fixing it up on the back end. Now, it did get these next steps wrong. That's not exactly how I would tell you to do it. But this second one is a whole lot closer to something I would write than the first one was. And the difference is this file that I uploaded right here. That file lives in my context folder, and I call it my thinking file or my POV, point of view file. So if you've built a brand voice file or an about me file and Claude still doesn't sound like you, this is the missing piece, and I'm going to show you exactly how to build one. So the first thing we have to understand is what the POV file isn't. It's not a brand voice file. This is my brand voice file. So if you made one, you probably look similar, right? You've got tone, you've got cadence instructions, do's and don'ts, patterns, right? This definitely gets you better output than letting AI make things up from scratch. So why are you still having to spend so much time rewriting? Short answer is that while this document everybody tells you to make recreates your voice patterns, it doesn't actually tell AI anything about how you think. So the AI engine goes out and finds an average opinion from its training data. It's a synthesis of what everyone else is saying. So there's no way it's going to be differentiated and no way it's going to get noticed. Look at what this document actually does. At its core, it's just a bunch of rules, right? Do this, don't do that, avoid this. This is what all those other videos I watched are teaching: syntax, word choice, emoji and em dash policies. But they're not giving it enough to generate content that's authentically yours. I like these graphs that show survey results. So this line in the middle, this is average. So what most people answer is right here. This is what Claude will write by default. But then occasionally you get these responses that are up here and down here and over here. These are outliers. What we want to do is give Claude your personal outliers. Let's build your POV file together right now. This is my POV framework, point of view framework, and it's got three components, right? Your own frameworks or systems, your strategic stances, those would be your opinions or your hot takes, and your stories. And together, these do three things. First, they build real trust because they showcase your expertise. Second, by creating these three different types of content, but making sure that they overlap, it makes sure all of your content connects, that there's a strategy to it, and that everything you post moves people closer to wanting to bring you in for an engagement. And then third, it's optimized to create content in exactly the areas that get you found and recommended by AI. So this isn't about creating a file where you just add your bio or your credentials or, I put clients first or I have a bias towards action, right? Garbage in, garbage out, people. This file is where you want to get really specific. First, your frameworks. You have a system. I promise you do. If you have 20 years of experience, you have a framework or a system. So have AI interview you, see if you can uncover it, or come work with me and I will help you. Either way, uncover your system and give it a name. The second piece is your opinions or your strategic stances. These are the hills you'll die on. If everyone agrees with it, no one is going to want to read your version. So be brave here. Be one of those outliers that I showed you before. And the third piece is your stories. If you back your opinions up with stories, your real experiences, well, then they're not just hot takes. They're recommendations that are supported by your lived experiences. And this is how you get AI to help you build that authenticity. Now, look, I know you don't have time to write out 20 stories right now or answer 100 questions, and that is fine. And writing's not the best way to capture these anyway, because you're going to polish them up so much and edit them out that you're going to leave out the raw details that actually make them believable and interesting to other people. So let me show you how you can be super efficient about this. Have AI interview you about your expertise in your business and just answer verbally. You can do it on your phone, like with a note taking app, or you can do it right into your computer with something called Whisper Flow. So start with just 3 questions, all right? And then maybe add a few more each week and keep updating your file. You could even do it while you're taking a walk. So here's a prompt you can use. This is my niche, put in your niche, and this is my audience, right? Go ahead and tell them who is going to be reading your content or listening to your content. Ask me one question at a time about opinions that I have that other people in my field might disagree with. And then ask me to tell you a story about where that opinion came from. If you do this with voice and not typing, where you're doing all that self editing, this is going to take you maybe 15 to 20 minutes. And that's going to be enough to get started. You can have your first version of this file done within 20 minutes of watching this video. And then once you've got those transcripts together, you can have Claude compile the answers and just put them in a document called POV.md and put it in the same folder as your brand voice file. And then you can update it or add more whenever you have time. And if you're not using CoWork, if you don't have a context file, just upload it in your project right next to your brand voice file where you do most of your writing. So right now, there are about 15 to 20 minutes standing between you and 10x better output from AI. So I challenge you, run the same before and after test that I did. You are going to see better results right away. Now, I talked about my POV framework in terms of creating the file. I didn't go deep on what's involved in each component. So if you want to know more about that, this is the video you're going to want to watch next.